Good morning. Mike, once again, is busy prepping to hang off a rope for a month or so. So, here's the 65 Malibu. Yesterday, managed to straighten out the quarter, get it pushed back to 3/4 of an inch that we needed. That was brutal. We still have some serious damage here in the door jamb. Luckily, that piece from the 70 Chevelle quarter panel I didn't use is the same, except for the cutout, which I won't use, but I can replace this whole edge because this is pretty much body mangled. I need to cut it off and then straighten out the support in behind, and then I can put the new one on, which is freaking awesome. So the problem I'm running into now is we have holes in the floor right down there, and I do have a panel which is for the 68 to 72, but the front part of it is identical. So I'm going to trim this off. I'm going to trim the front of this off, and I'm going to cut a big hole in the freaking floor, and I'm going to replace that. The big problem I'm having right now is we have 3 cars apart. We have the one in the booth, the Roadrunner clone, the 70 Chevelle, and now we're taking apart this. We have one rack full of parts, which is now a mixture. We have another rack full of stuff from 2 or 3 cars. Now, we're taking this apart, and here's what we end up with. We got stuff laying all over the freaking place. So I don't even know what to do with the stuff. I took the dash out. I'll show you over here. And because it doesn't have a break in it, it's in excellent shape. I had to put it in a 70 Chevelle because I can't see a safe place to put it where old brittle plastic is guaranteed not to get damaged. So that's where it sits for now. But I gotta work out something with Mike. We need a place to put stuff, or we gotta finish one. So we have this door that Mike had, so I've just stripped all the glass out of it, the window regulator, all the rest of it, so that when I'm welding on the floor, I'm not going to screw up the glass, and I'm going to want to sandblast this door eventually, so we got it. I will take the latch out eventually. When I cut the floor out, I didn't want to spark up the dash or risk breaking it, so that's why I took the dash out. I don't believe he has another one, and we can paint that dash, but right now it's unbroken. So that'll be my job for this morning. I can't do any of this or the outer quarter until we get our inners. The car is straight right now, but it's been gutted with rust and me cutting stuff off, so it can move all over the place. So I want a new outer wheelhouse. I'll cut that out, I'll repair the inner wheelhouse, and when I replace the outer wheelhouse, it'll tie things together, it'll start to be safe and solid. Then I can fix the rocker, put the new quarter on, and then I'll feel a little more confident about taking more of it out. I've got to do the entire trunk floor, and I'm waiting for that. Might have it today, we'll see. Also, when you're fitting doors, a side note, either take the striker off the B-pillar here, or take the latch out. When you go to close the door to fit it, you don't want anything pulling the door up or down. You want to see where it goes naturally. So, gee, what the heck is in my way? Oh, what? Well, that's not performance. I added a spring. There we go. So, the latch doesn't pull it up or down. It's all good. I do need to adjust the door a little bit more, but by having the striker off, I can see where it closes. If I had the pin off by 1/8 of an inch, it might pull the door up or down. So that's why I take that out to fit the door. I did a little bit of damage jacking the body straight right there. Doesn't bother me in the least. Well, it's not the best, but that's a simple fix. I'll straighten out the flange, I can hammer this back down. It was a small price to pay to gain that 3/4 of an inch, which, to tell you the truth, had me buffaloed for a little while. So I would like to finish polishing the trunk. You can just see the nose sticking out of the boot of the Roadrunner, because if I got that polished, then it comes down to, what are we doing? Selling it the way it is, or are we going to finish the car? But this has to be ready like in 2.5 months. It's a big freaking job. So I got to get on the floor. At least I can do that while I'm waiting for parts. Structurally, it doesn't change the car too much, replacing that floor panel. So that's what I'm up to today. I'm hoping Mike makes it back after lunch, and then we can go over things and maybe try to work out a plan for storing parts or finishing one of these. All right, here we go. This metal's excellent. There. Yeah. That's really nasty. So this is pretty good. This the easy place for me to do this. I think I'll go right up to the bottom of this V, and then I'll come out here to the top of the crown. I mean, when you weld on the crown, it's very easy to metal finish. It's a piece of cake, right? This is under a rug. I still want it to look nice. So cut up here. This is all super solid. Here, not so much. Just so you can see what I'm talking about. This. Yeah. So I'm going to cut around this for the 4-speed. That is still there. It's body mangled, but I could actually hammer that back together and make it look like something. So I'm going to cut my floor down here. I will come up a bit on the side and come across, because there's rust in between the layers here. It's swollen a bit. But then I'll just go up here. I'll weld in the bottom of the groove. Some of that I'll be able to weld from outside and easily metal finish on the underside. I'm going to come right over here. We got crap here. So I'll come back to the crown again. So I'm going to cut this out roughly, and then I'm going to trim the new panel, make the new panel fit where I like it, and I'll do my final cut after I set the new panel down and mark it. So this shouldn't take that long. The metal around it is super solid, should be easy to weld. So I'll get right after it. Everything I took out of the door and everything, I'm just keeping in a pail because I got no other place to put it. The windshield's already broken, so I don't have to worry about welding spatter. So imagine we'd get new pedals. Yeah, they're not too bad, but just to avoid some noisiness later on this afternoon, I'll take these off. The wiring we'd all replace, so I'm not going to worry about that. So throw this in the bucket and commence to cutting stuff out with my zip cut. Then it's just a rough cut. Get it out, and then I can fine tune it. Okay. All right. there you have it. Yeah. And look at this. Okay. This is all really good. The metal underneath here, I didn't cut it off. It stopped right there, that brace. So I'll rough cut my new panel, set it in, make sure it goes far enough. Here's some damage I caused with the porta power. Not a big deal, easily fixed. But it is something that has to be addressed. But for now, I just want to get the floor pan in. Again, that's nice metal. Okay. Cool. I got a little bit of down lift to cut off this edge, but you can see it's going to fit pretty nice. So I'll trim it back a little bit more and then scribe around it. It's easier to get this fitting down where I want it and then cut the floor to fit it. Instead of keep trimming this back, I can go underneath and scribe it, but this is what I'm going to do. Now I know I can come right back to the edge because this panel fits better than I expected. So, yesterday, we did this. And I fixed up that tunnel a little bit. And then, today, I want to get the other side done. I would like to make a little bit better time than yesterday. Now that I'm confident in how the panels fit and how it's going to go, I expect I'll do a little better today. Where's my hammer? Here it is. This side, you can see there's some rust holes up here. This one I'm going to cut out, be a little less wide. Still going to go to this high crown, cut across there. But in the back, I've got more rust on this side, as well as a little bit back here. You can see that. Yeah. So, I don't want to mess with this original piece in here. Everything's really good. To take this piece out is a lot of time, popping spot welds, cleaning things up, treating it. I don't think that's necessary. It's very good. This is an easy weld to do in a crown. So I'm going to do a front section, then I will do a back section, probably back to here I imagine, and then I'll finish up the back, make some panels. I just want to get off this floor. When we blast it, sometimes you find a bit more, but I'm really confident this is good. I'll just throw it on a time lapse. It's basic same idea as before, but now that I know the panels fit pretty good, I'm going to cut my piece out. I'm going to lay it on top of the new panel, trace it. Of course, I'll go just a bit proud, a little bit extra. Lay it down and fit it. I'm hoping to have a really good day and get off of these freaking floors. Waiting for the trunk floor. I'm hoping I might have it today. And if everything goes really good, maybe I'll get a chance to do some polishing on the trunk of the Roadrunner sitting over in the booth. Once again, Mike has to go off and pick up a couple of cars. Hard to believe, I know. So I won't see him around till this afternoon. But that's all right. I'm just hoping to get off that floor and then get some outer wheelhouse and outer wheelhouse and the trunk floor and try to make this a solid car again. So it should be, I'm hoping for a very successful day. And it'll be peaceful. I can crank some tunes, my tunes. It should be a great day. Cheers. Good morning. Can't tell you what a thrill it is to be here today. Blair from Rust Bros. This has been my project, the 64 Malibu rag. The last day I was working on this, I'd done the front 2 floor patches. When I opened up the back, we found some rust holes in the floor support. When Mike saw that, he went, "What the hell?" Picked up the phone and ordered a brand new complete floor pan with floor supports, which would have been awesome to have known a couple days before. So now we're doing the entire floor all the way back, and then we're doing an entire trunk floor. We're also doing outer quarters, outer wheelhouses, some extensive repairs on the inner wheelhouses. We are keeping the trunk lid, but I don't want to cut out the floor until I have the new panel in my hands. And you should never do that because you don't know what the new floor pan is going to fit like, or what does it come with. Does it actually have floor supports? Does it come all the way to the edge? So I'm going to wait till those parts show up, which apparently is later today. So I'll clean the car out, get all the tools put away, get ready for that. Man, I'm going to have to do some measurements width-wise. That one seems like it might be wider. So I'm going to measure between the tubs and see what I got. Now I gotta find my tape measure again. 5 tape measures. We always used to keep them together, but now they seem to disappear instantaneously the minute you set them down. So up in here between the wheel wells, that's 46 and a bit. Jeez, that's 46 and a half. Oh hell, they look pretty similar. So they both have this hump up here. Let's see how long that flat spot is. 16. Wow. That looks right. I gotta look at the tag. It told me it was for a different year. 66 and 67 Chevelle. And we're doing a 64. So 65 and 3/4. Okay, I see a little subtle difference. Or do I? Let me see. Okay, that's within a 1/4 inch. Well, that's freaking cool. This looks the same. Hell, I don't even know. Back different? Back line is straight on both of them. It has a cutout here. No, it doesn't have this cutout on the new one. Nope, 1, 2. Yeah, these are both the same. Well, that blows my freaking mind. Yeah, that's freaking wild. I'm going to have to look this up and see what the difference is. Because right now with the measuring tape, I can't see any difference at all. Even in the bead rolls on the floor, they appear to be identical. But they wouldn't say it was only 6 and 7 years if there wasn't a reason for that. So I'm going to stop and have a look it up, see what I can find out before I start cutting it out, in case I understood there might be a difference in here, but I don't see it. If there's no difference, I can cut all the way forward. But I don't want to do that in case that new one's not going to work there. So I got to finish taking some of this valuable stuff out of here, and I'll look up the differences. And if everything looks like it's a go-ahead, then I've got to jack the car level. I mean, the frame's level, but the body's sitting weird because suspension is different from side to side. So I think I'll stop and check some measurements, check the differences, and level off the car. And the first thing I want to do, I'm guessing that the trunk floor is not going to fit in here in one piece, but I'll have to try. No, there's no way. So either it has to go in from the bottom, which I have a frame underneath this car, so I can't do that. Or I could trim it and take one side off above the gas tank strap, and then no one would see where I'd cut it. It's about saving time. So if I either have to take this whole tail light panel out to slide it in, that's a big freaking job. A lot of stuff is gonna move. If I can section the pan, that would make a lot of people cringe. But if I cut it above a support, then when I weld it back in, you'll never see it from the underside, and the top is easy to finish. And that could save me a lot of time-wise removing this back end and trying to stabilize everything. So I'm guessing that's what I'm gonna do. Right now, I'm gonna clean out that crap out of there and see where I might splice it. So I'm going to stand it up so we can see the underside of it. Wow, you don't realize how big they are till they're out of the car. So if you see, if I went above this support for the gas tank and I cut the tin right on this edge, I could weld it back on and underside. The underside would only need metal finishing in this short area. And in fact, yeah, I could just cut straight up here. And then when I put it back in, it is a long weld up here, but I mean, it's easy to metal finish that. I've got to decide what to do here pronto. So I'm going to scratch my head a little bit here, look around, but I'm guessing I'm going to end up doing a cut and put it in 2 pieces. Unless I want to remove the whole tail light panel, which is still up in the air. Well, when you go to change a trunk floor pan, there's things to look at, such as you have to take out the striker rest. This has got to come out. You've got to separate it here from the rear lip support. This comes on the new piece here, but you can see how far it sticks into the quarters underneath this. That's not going in one piece. So if I elect to cut out the back, I would have to take this tail panel out in behind the lights. You can see this here. This side's busted. So, you know, separate it here, here. Maybe if I took out just one side, would I be able to sneak it in? I don't know. I hate taking that much apart. And man, I keep looking at the damage here. Wow. Yeah. So sometimes people cut them right along here. It's an easy place to metal finish. Saves you a lot of time separating this panel way back inside. You can see some daylight through here. Jeez, I just keep looking at this job and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. Yeah, I'd have to separate all the way along here, and I may do that. Let's see what happens. Oh, hey, our fearless leader.
Holy f***. I didn't think that guy'd be here. Did you pay him?
Yes.
Okay, here, I'll give it back to you.
Well, no, I took it out of yours.
Out of mine.
Frank was here.
Oh, good, so I have change.
You too. Okay, I'll lift this up so I can show you the frame.
Yeah, let's take a look. You know, we got brand new focus for this thing.
Oh, yeah?
We ordered a bunch of stuff for Connor's car.
All right. That'll be the same.
Yeah.
I know. It's some parts of it are just really nice.
Look at that nice gap. Too bad Chrysler could never make a gap like that.
Yeah, they did have the biggest lower door gaps, didn't they? Okay.
Okay, what do we got going here, Mr. Well,
Okay,
you
look.
go up one higher. I'm taller than you are.
Well, you can see it from right there. We'll go up one more. Yeah, you're a whole lot taller than me. Oh, yeah.
Right here's what you're talking?
Well, there is a crack there.
Yeah, pretty minor though.
No, look up the side. It's right there. Right in front of your finger. You had your hand on
Right
it.
here?
Yes.
No, I can't really.
You see that crack right
I see
there?
this crack.
Yes.
Does it go up?
It goes up a ways.
Okay.
I'll show you on the inside.
Yeah. That's a weird place to crack.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense because there's the body mount here. And this crack goes up about to here.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And it's just been bouncing over the years, going up and down the highway. It's not a big deal.
No, I mean,
We
it's
would weld it up, and then I would put a diamond-shaped fish plate over
over
it
top
for
of
the
it.
hell of it.
Okay, yep. And then just plug weld it or weld it on the outside?
Oh, no, I'd weld it on the outside. I'd put it on the outside, and like I say, a diamond shape. So,
Is that both sides the same or just the one?
well, no, this side I didn't see the same damage, right? But if we're putting the fish plate on one,
Yeah.
we do the other
Yeah,
side anyhow.
just in case.
Now, it has the same floor support under the trunk lid. Unfortunately, I have to confess that Mike found the difference in the floor pans for the trunk. And it's on the back end. That piece you look at down there. Okay, on this car, it's got an indentation in the middle looking straight up. And on the 66s, it was pretty much straight across. So that whole bottom side goes out from the center of the car. The top is the same, all is the same. Floor braces are the same. So, Mike
You know,
figured it out.
I mean, normally if it's non-posy, one turns backwards, right? But this, when you spin them hard, they both try and go the same way. It could be a limited slip. I'm
Yes,
not
it
sure.
could be. It could be. So, yes, all this comes out. And this is why I can't change the floor from underneath. Unless I lift the body up, and then I got to support it and make it one. No, I'm just going to section the trunk floor and change it out.
Oh, yeah, because there's no way you could, no, like you can't slide it up and in. There's just no way possible.
Nope, that's right. So I could take out the tail light panels, which I still.
And then just slide it in?
Yeah.
And then, well, I mean, is that easier?
Well, you wouldn't like the look of it. I would take a zip cut and just cut a big square out around the tail light assembly.
Just, well, basically, and then you just slide the whole thing in.
Yeah. I'm going to lower the car now.
Okay, I gotta get back to work. Keep up the good work, Mr. Smith.
Yes, sir. So
Just remember, the magic mantra, bag and tag.
No. That's exactly it. Look at this. I did a thing on that yesterday. This is our third car apart. I got no place to put anything. Anywhere. I'm using a bucket to hold the parts from the left door.
Okay.
Just so they all stay together.
Yes, well, I'll keep them together. We'll find a place when I get back. Yeah, and then we'll talk to Chris and see if we can't get this thing off here for the weekend. Yes?
Okay.
I'm thinking we're gonna keep all the suspension on it until I get new parts though.
Okay.
So we can roll it around.
Oh, no, that's
Right.
great idea.
Right?
Same with the
In
front.
hindsight, I should have just left the front suspension on that frame, then at least we wouldn't be in the, because we could just bolt the rear end back into it.
I should have mentioned. Oh, I did mention it. So, you can drive across Canada with this the way it is. The difference being the back end here, I'm now going to have to drill all this out, separate this. I am probably going to just do some, hack this right out, take this whole panel off the car, slide in the new one, and then put this back on the car. So my goal there today is I want to have the back taillight panel back in place even if the floor isn't complete, so that he doesn't freak out when he shows up. He understands the process. He said go for it. Still, it's going to look nasty while I'm doing it. This whole frame has to be sandblasted. Now I'm going to stand inside and I'm going to clean up the front there. It's all probably going to come out right at the edges. I mean, most of it's great, but right at the tub, there's some bad spots. So I will fix them now while I have the opportunity. And here, I'll give you a better look. Oh, geez. I got the freaking back on. So I've got to trim this little bit of floor off of this lip. Yeah. What do you do? I might just cut through the quarter panel and take that piece off. And the same over here. If I cut through the quarter panel, I have this piece totally off. I can put it in a vise, drill, clean it up, grind it, make it very nice. Oh, I didn't fix this already. I'm thinking of the other Chevelle. See that? There's a piece that needs to be replaced. Most of this is really, really solid. So, I think I just accomplished a good deal of work. Now I'll trim it up, and this afternoon I'll be fitting in the new one.
Chop out the front part now.
The rest of this out. And then I can just fit the new floor. There's a bunch of cleanup to do here. Cleaning off some of where I chiseled. There's some of the old spot welds left. I won't waste time where it's got to be replaced because some of this is rotten. Yeah, most of it is rotten. I'll probably just put a new piece the whole way around. But first I'll get the floor in. So I gotta get the front of this out, which I will commence to doing right freaking now. Won't be needing that anymore. Yeah, now there's one layer right here. So, to not damage the car, I'm going to finish popping it off of this rail, fold it up, pop the other spot welds. I can save quite a bit of drilling. The car is really solid at this point, so I'm not going to hurt anything. So right at the front, what I'm dealing with, this is the channel you see. So it sits over top of the car. Yeah. So I'm going to cut out the front of this channel right along there with the chisel probably, and then I'll just pop it away from the rest of the car. And that should be the last piece before I have to get in here. And well, before I can fit the new trunk floor. I think this is going to work. We shall see. I could use a zip cut to see how it goes with the chisel. Chisels are cheaper. And we don't need that anymore. Okay. Alright. Both front corners of that flange were rusted thin. So I'm going to weld a lip on there first. I'll trim this back a little bit. Probably do some of that. I got myself some. Yeah, clean up my edges and slide the trunk lid in. It's just that simple. This, not too worried. I'm going to cut the rest of the quarter from the outer. And those will be out of my way. So I'll use the zip cut to cut that off the quarter. I'll trim it on the bench and then reinstall it once the floor is in. I'll line up the floor with the old body mount holes. And up here as well. So I suppose I'm not quite ready to start going the other direction. I will pop this stuff loose. But as soon as that's done, then I'll put the floor in. Wow! I'll start rebuilding this lip, get rid of the rusted areas here and here. The middle's good, hammer flat. I'll use those spots for plug welds. Maybe I'll replace the whole thing. But I'll just pop this loose and start rebuilding. There it sits. I got to push it down a little. It's a hair high on this side, but I got a body mount propping it up in there. So I'll take that out and drop it down. Then I could weld it across the front. What I want to do before I get to that point, do some diagonals from the front corners to the back. Make sure I've got this square to the body. I'll line up the body mount holes with the holes in the underside of the car, the body, the floor. So there's two here, there's two right behind the wheel wells, and there's two more up front. When I get those lined up and I'm happy, then I can weld across the front. If I have that welded in, I think my next chore, I'll sandblast the taillight panel, which is laying over there by the desk, weld it back in. First I'll set it down, and I have to trim this to fit it. Again, 66 Chevelle, as Mike noted, comes farther out and goes back in gently. The original one on this car stays in tight and has an indent in the middle and carries on. So I got to trim that. But that'll be my next goal right now, is to go out and sandblast that part. All right, so I got to cut the mount underneath, but I took this up and blasted it and found little bits of rust on here, but I got it clean inside and out. So once I get the floor in the right place, it's going to sit down a little more, and I got to mark this tail pan and trim it to fit this, and we'll go from there. Right now I'm going to cut that mount off. It's holding this side up quite a bit. Torch, I guess.